Hello, and welcome back to another speed paint video. This time I did something a little bit spooky, because sometimes, well, a little bit spooky myself. I started on the right-hand side of the page, but then realized, well, if I'm painting towards the left, I'm going to smear it everywhere. So I started on the left side instead. I did end up with a few smudge marks in the end, but considering this is in my sketchbook, I'm not too concerned with those types of things. My sketchbook is definitely a place where I just kind of hash out ideas to see what I like, what I don't like, what works, and what doesn't work. This, I feel like, in a lot of ways worked. I was really inspired by something pretty ordinary this week. The design in the background was something that I saw in the reflection of the pool at my physical therapy office. It was like the pattern of the mini blinds in the pool, where they sort of swirled around in the water, was mesmerizing. So I decided to try and paint it. I think for the most part it turned out pretty good. It did definitely take me a very long time to get this background done, but it is pretty intricate for a background, and I do like to take on very tedious tasks. So there it is, the tedious task itself. And now I feel like I'm going to be talking for the next 17 minutes just doing the background. But I know that there's more ahead, so please stick around with me for that end result here. This week has been pretty good. I have been doing mostly okay. Definitely still a lot of depression and anxiety, but that's pretty normal for me. Feel like I did a good job to push my boundaries with my art though, so I'm focusing on that and sort of patting myself on the back for a good job done there. And yeah, just trying to move forward into the new year with a good outlook and some positivity as I move through some legal battles and mental health challenges. I'm just gonna keep relying on my artwork, because I always have, and my art's always been there for me as like sort of a stabilization device. Sort of keeps me calm and content. So definitely has been a very powerful therapy tool in my own life. And I hope to talk about that more and the ways that it's helped me on this channel. And maybe I can help some other people. We'll see kind of where this channel goes and what direction it takes as things progress here into the new year and the years to come. I'm not really sure what direction my channel will take at this point. I'm kind of just making content and putting it out there. So if you're here now and you've been following me from the get-go, I really appreciate you being one of my subscribers, being one of my followers. Because it's a process, and it'll take time for me to get to the point that I want to be at. It'll take time to get followers and to have followers. So I definitely appreciate you being here now, and I hope that you can stick with me on this little online journey that I'm undertaking. Had a bad smudge on the hair there, but I think I did a pretty good job of covering it up later, so just checking to make sure everything was dry first before I started the other direction. Yeah, definitely just some very tedious work here in the background. But it really reminded me of like a 1960s like rock poster sort of a vibe. I feel like I did like the way that this turned out, but I would rather use it as like a, not the whole background, but just like maybe bits and pieces of a frame of a background. It was definitely a lot to do for one painting. And then the ladies' faces that I drew, they've got 2 sets of eyes, and the one with the mouth open, she's got fangs. I was definitely thinking about sleep paralysis demons in this. I'm fascinated by sleep paralysis. If you don't know, sleep paralysis is where you're like sort of awake, sort of asleep, but you're paralyzed and you can't move, you can't do anything. And during this time, people have reported that they see demons, whether it's an old hag that's standing on top of you, pinning you down, or a floating dismembered head in your bedroom. Like some reports have said that they're like laughing. Anyway, I have had experiences like that myself. For me, mine is a dismembered head that's floating, and it's kind of like, it doesn't have any skin, so it's all musculature, and very interesting stuff. So I like to draw these sleep paralysis demons. Demons in general are a very fascinating subject for me. Definitely like things that involve the macabre and the dark and the unknown and mysterious elements within our world. I think it's very fascinating. So it's something that I like to explore in my own art. And I have a comic book idea that involves like a teenage demon. So I'll let you know for right now. We'll see how the story progresses, but that's another thing that I like to sketch on is teenage demon type characters and teenagers in general for my story concept for, I don't know if it's going to be a graphic novel or if it's going to be more like a illustrated novella. It's just like a short novel. We'll see how it transpires. But that's part of my social media journey, kind of end goal is to be able to release a comic book. In the meantime, I have a lot of work to do with my drawings and drawing anatomy. Definitely I need some work on. I feel like my portraiture and the faces that I draw, like, they're pretty okay. They can use some work too, but definitely my anatomy drawing is lacking. So I need to work on some drawing of bodies and some figure studies and things like that. So I was thinking that for like an upcoming video I might do a sketch with me. I've done a few of these speed paints so far, so I thought it would be fun to do something in real time and sort of talk while I'm going. That sounds interesting to me, so hopefully that sounds interesting to you as well. If you've made it this far, definitely let me know what you think about that idea in the comments below. I definitely like to hear your feedback and start a conversation. I've been making these videos for a few months now and sort of have the momentum going for regular content, so I would definitely like to hear some feedback from the people that are watching here so far, see what you think, how you found my work, and yeah, what's bringing you back. Gosh, this definitely is taking forever with this background. I thought sped up it would go faster, but here we are still with the black and the white and the striping. On and on we go. Okay, so we sort of cut ahead a little bit there, I think. And then usually I don't work in my back room when there's natural sunlight, because as you can see, it definitely is a distraction. But I was excited to get to this point. Like, finally I'd gotten through that black background. So I tried something different this time with the portrait painting, and what I did was I started with all of the darker areas first rather than doing it all in one wash. I sort of just added in the dark elements and then washed in between, I guess. So that way it gives some dimensionality without it becoming too thick. And that worked really well for me, so I will keep that up in the months to come. And then here I'm just experimenting with color, just adding in some darker elements with blue. Then I'm adding in orange. And I think I did a deeper orange or reddish. Yes. Her lips are definitely a very bright. Is it a red? Is it an orange? I wasn't really sure when I put it down. But I liked the way that this turned out with the colors in the portraiture. Definitely happy with that. And it's something that I want to experiment more with as time progresses here. Okay, that's much better lighting. I should have just waited. I was so excited though. So here I'm adding in a purple for the hair. And I really like this purple color with the contrast to the black and white in the background. I think that's really lovely. Makes it a little bit less spooky and a little bit more poppy, which I like. As you can tell, my wardrobe changed from the beginning of the video. This was several sittings. I like to paint after I get home from work. I get off in the afternoon, so it's a nice thing to do when I get home to unwind. And then as I'm adding this second layer of purple, I tried a couple of things. Here I gotta mix it first. Mixing this purple. And making it lighter. I tried something new with the hair to try and add some highlights. I think that turned out pretty good as well. Just sort of painted in some chunks and then left some spots open. That's where the light was hitting. I think it looks pretty good. I think that there was some learning that happened in this painting for sure, and I want to continue that in the next paintings that come up. And I left it pretty simple for me. Usually I just keep adding layers and layers and layers, and then I don't like where it's going, and then I can't add any more layers because it's watercolor and I'm used to working in acrylic and blah blah blah. But I feel like I did a pretty good job this time, leaving it just sort of light and neutral, and yeah, definitely something that I want to continue for my paintings to come in my little sketchbook here. looks like I just hopped right into it, but I did let it dry for quite some time before I came back in and added the pen, because wet paper, especially in a sketchbook, will tear, and it is most unfortunate to see in your sketchbook after you've put all this hard work into it to make it tear. So here I'm just going in and adding the details in her face, just bringing out certain things like the eyebrows and the nose bridge. I chose this purple color just because of the hair, and I think that it complements the whole piece overall. This purple color. And I like these cheap Bic pens. They come in packs of like 15, I feel like, and they're all these different colors, and they're just standard Bic pens, but I really like them for outlining. They do really well on top of watercolors and have a really smooth flow to them, and as much as I want to like microns, I always fall back on these cheap Bic pens. So yeah, gotta just go with what you know and go with what you like, and you know what, there's no harm, no foul in that. If you know you like it, it's a-okay. Here we have the finished piece. Thanks so much for hanging out, watching me with this next speed paint video. Yay! Did the thing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more.